I'll let you get back to it. It sounds like you got some conditions tonight up on your end. Okay, man, I want to sit back and listen for a minute.
Hey, it's me, Shane, aka Gemini from Gemini Garage, and some more radio stuff today. I thought, since I just happen to have both of these radios in my possession at the same time, and since they're both fairly recent radios on the market, last year or so, and they're both still really popular, I figured it'd be a really good time to do a kind of a comparison with them, kind of show you what features this one has that this one doesn't, and what features this one has that that one doesn't. They're both within about $75 to $100 of each other. They're both in the same wattage range, being around the 80 to 100 watt range, and they're both they're both a newer style radio, surface mount components. They both have sideband AM, FM, and so with that, what I'm going to do is again, we've got the President Washington Mobile here and the AnyTone AT-6666PRO, and I'm kind of going to go through, like I said, what this one has and what that one has, and then when I'm done doing all of that, I'm going to take the side rails off and the microphones off and measure them, lay them on their side, and give you a really good view of what's going on with them size-wise, because the size of these things may very well determine which one you end up with if you're looking to get one for a mobile application. So with that, I'm going to get my stuff together here, and I'll get back to you, so stick with me. So with that, the President Washington here, it is AM, FM, upper and lower sideband. It does not have a PA system on it, and it does not have CW or Morse code on it. It is obviously a little bit bigger than this one here, the AnyTone. The President Washington will get 10, 11, and 12 meters. It will not get 15 meters or 21 megahertz. This one also has a power management system in it, and this one does not. It also has a call feature in it, which this one does not. It has a USB charging port in it, which this one does not. It has a specially designed board in here to hook up for a cooling system, and the heatsink is tapped for fans. This one is not, and this one has a really nice digi-mic that comes with it with the noise reduction circuitry on it. This one does not use that microphone. However, this one the microphone on it, in addition to having up and down buttons, which they both do, this one has a third button that you can use as a user program button, and I'll get to that more a little bit later. Both of these have like a CT CSS function for 10 meters for if you're using 10 meter repeaters and this and that. They also both have a way to store some memory channels. They both have a dual watch setting. They both have a scan setting. Obviously, they both have pretty much the same color menu set up. They both have pretty much the same similar Roger beep set up. They both have a noise reduction circuitry on there. And they both have a traditional A&L and a noise blanker. So again, except for the major, kind of features that I listed, this one's got a cooling fan system, this one doesn't. This one has a PA and CW, this one doesn't. Except for some of those sort of more major differences between the two of them, I would say they both are similarly featured. The biggest difference between these two radios, and I was listening to a conversation the other day, and I have it set up on a antenna switch where I can toggle back and forth between the radios and kind of see what the receive sounds like. And I can tell you the biggest difference between these two radios, and I'll show you. But listen to this. Right now we're on the President, and I'm going to switch over. President, AnyTone. President. Now, what I found interesting is the AnyTone kind of has a warmer, bassier sound to it, while the President has a more trebly kind of sound to it. Pardon all the noise here, but I'm trying to prove a point. Color, dimmer, tone. Okay, now listen to this. The Washington, you can adjust it so that it's trebly or more bassy. You hear that? Okay. Now, I can adjust the Washington's sound to where it's probably about as bassy as the AnyTone there. So let's see. Okay, President, AnyTone. President, AnyTone. I think maybe even go just a tiny bit further on this and see. AnyTone, President. AnyTone, President. So you can see just how this thing tends to be a little bit bassier sounding. Now, having said that, you hear it more when you're just listening to the static. When you hear a voice or somebody come over the radio, especially if it's a really good signal, it's a little less prevalent. You don't really hear the bassiness in it. So, but I just thought I'd mention that. This thing, you can kind of adjust it all over the place, as far as that's concerned. Whoops. I keep it about there or there. But anyways, now this here has a tone setting on it, but it's not for your AM. It's for a sideband. It's your sideband tone, or your sideband tone, which is sideband bandwidth. So the menu situation with both of these, I would say, is somewhat similar. This one here, you push and hold it in, and that takes you to pretty much all of your menu options. This one over here, you press it and hold it in. You've got like 6 menu options when you press and hold this in: high cut, noise blinker A&L, echo, 10KZ, Roger, beep, and DTMF, which is a push-to-talk identification system of some kind that this radio is capable of using. And then if you want the rest of your menu functions on this thing, you push in here, and then that takes you to, you've got, I think, 6 options when you just long press and hold here, and when you long press and hold this button, I believe there's 42 different menu selections there. And of course, this goes into all your basic, you can set your emergency channels and your color. This one here is kind of cool. You can set your transmit color to be different. So I have this one set so that when you key up, it's red instead of green. It looks kind of cool. And make sure the antenna switch is on the right one here, just so you can see that real quick. That's kind of cool. They both have the ability to display your SWR or voltage when you key up. Again, this one here has that Digimic, and I'm going to do a demonstration one of these days with this mic, the stock mic, and maybe some other ones on this radio, just to kind of see how that sounds. But I can tell by listening to it through recording it through some other radios, and then just through the talkback, that this is a very nice microphone here. for this radio here. I don't know what's available aftermarket for the AnyTone there.
At RC level 1.
You can keep it at level. I leave it at level 1 because that's just barely enough to do
At RC level 2.
much, but it helps a little bit.
At RC level 3.
Warp factor 1.
At RC level 4.
Captain, we're getting a distress signal. I'm sorry, it sounds like Mr. Sulu.
At RC level 5.
Tell me that does not sound like Mr. Sulu from the original Star Trek series. Anyways,
At RC off. At RC level 1.
cool microphone. It basically enhances the sound with the noise reduction circuitry off, and then with it on, it kind of adds that extra filter in there. But it's adjustable. Now, I will say one other thing. The Washington here, the Washington's a nicer radio. I mean, if you're going to get a bass setup, this is probably your radio here, unless you need CW or PA function. Okay. Again, you'll have to forgive me. I have this bit of an overheating problem with my camera, and it overheats, and then I got to put it in the refrigerator for a few minutes. I'm in the kitchen anyway, so whatever. Okay, so let's get a look at these things here. The President, another difference, the President takes a regular CB 148, I guess the 955s take them too, just kind of your standard CB plug there. Some people, as I said in a prior video, have complained about that because this thing's 80 watts, but if you get a good heavy cord and have a relatively short run, or run some bigger wires, up to the fuse part, you'll be fine. And at least it's a universal plug, so that's okay. This one here, and of course this one does have the optional fan kit on it, and of course it's designed to have the fans on there. You plug them inside the radio. This here, it's completely external. It's not set up for that. It already has a power wire coming off of it anyway, so I just took the fan wires, ran them alongside the original power wire, and then just tack soldered them to the terminals on the inside of the housing there, the inside of the plug there. Took the plug off, and I got a video on all that. Video on the fan kit installs on both of these, videos on the conversions and unboxing on both of these. So once again, standard power socket here, and then this one's got whatever it's got coming off of here. So again, we'll put the President up here, and you can see how the AnyTone is definitely longer. Even without the fan kit on it, it's probably about a ½ inch longer. And it's narrower, and it's not as tall or as thick. Just making sure all this is in frame here. So like I said, size may be a determining factor for you. And with that, I'll get my tape measure out here. So the President, without the cooling fans, I'm going to call that 8.5, and that's from like the end of the knob to the very flat back of the heat sink with no fan. It's 8.5. And with the fan, it's about 9.5. Those fans add about an inch on the Washington here. 8.5 deep without the fans from knob to back of heat sink. 9.5 from front of knob to back of fan. 9.5. It is. I'm gonna call that 7 1/4 wide, and then we're gonna say about 2, maybe 2 1/8 to 2 1/4, 2 3/16, call it that, thick. So 2 3/16 thick, 7 1/4 wide, 8 1/2 deep without the fans, 9 1/2 deep with the fans for the President Washington. The AnyTone here, there are different fan kits that you can get for this. So some of them kind of have a magnetic strip and it sort of sticks to the top and blows the air down or pushes it out. This one here, you know, mounts to the side of the case. So, you know, your measurements are going to vary depending on the fan kit you have on there. This one's a dual fan kit. So the AnyTone here, let's say from the end of the knob to the original heat sink with no cooling fan kit, we're going to call that probably about 10 inches. And then with the cooling fan kit, it's going to be about probably 10 3/4 inches. But then you got this toggle switch, so you know that's probably a 1/2 inch there. So you know, I mean, you're looking at probably with that toggle switch. Again, this is going to depend on your fan kit. You're looking at 11 1/2, about 11 1/2 from end of knob to the end of the toggle switch for this setup. But like I said, without the fan kit on there, you're looking stock, and then you know whatever you add on. And the width on, or the height, I guess this is the width. We're going to call that's about 6 1/4 to 6 3 wide. And we're going to say that's like 1 7/8. I mean, that's almost 2. So about 1 7/8 tall. So 10 deep minus the fan kit, 1 7/8 thick, 6 1/4 wide. If you can keep all that straight, good for you. I'm sure I will write it all down and put it into the video there. So check and make sure the camera's still going here. All right. So once again, I'll just kind of give you a general look at these things here. Again, this one, the Washington's going to be thicker, and it's going to be wider this way, but it's going to be shorter. Not a bunch, you know, maybe an inch or so, and you're really going to have some room behind these things. You really, I mean, I can't see you really wanting to put these in any kind of cubby, you know, without any kind of ventilation, with or without a fan kit on them. But I do highly recommend the fan kits for these things if you're actually going to talk on them. So one more time around. I don't know if there's any other comparison I can do here. So we can kind of do one of these. So, okay. Okay, well there you go. Hope that helps, and just for the heck of it here, again, one of my favorite little things to do these days. I sure wish I would have thought of these, that's for sure. just can't ask for anything simpler as far as putting your radio on a stand there. Okay, well, there you go. That's the comparison of the specs and the measurements of the President Washington and the AnyTone AT-6666PRO. Helped kind of sort out the differences, and having them side by side like that sometimes makes all the difference in the world. So hopefully it was helpful. So thanks for watching. Shane, Gemini Garage.